Okay, so I'm hoping that this is what you meant by the third section. So there's the third set of problems. So I'll just start on number 1 and then we'll see what happens. All right, so we have 4x squared plus 11x minus 15 equals 0. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's bring the 15 over to the other side. Because it's a negative 15, I'm going to add 15 on both sides. Now what I have to do is I need to divide out this 4. The reason is because I want my coefficient of my leading term to be 1. And then this is probably where you got tripped up because, yes, there are a lot of there are fractions, which is a little bit interesting when you're starting to do some of the completing the square. So in order to complete the square, I am just going to write the work over here. I take half of my b term, and then I'm going to square it. I don't know why I wrote it that way, but when you're taking half of 11 over 4, I'll just keep it as 11 over 4 and multiply it by 1 over 2, which gives me 11 over 8, and that's what I need to square. Okay, so whenever you're multiplying, right, you go left to right. So 11 times 1 gives me 11. 4 times 2 gives me 8. So that's what I have to square. So I will get 121 over 64. When you square a fraction, you're just going to square the top, square the bottom. Okay, and it is positive. Whatever I do on one side of the equation, I need to do on the other. And there we go. Wasn't giving me enough room there. Okay. So now, in order to get rid of this guy. All right, so now what you're going to have to do is factor this guy. And on the left side, it's pretty weird, right, because it's a bunch of fractions. So how would I know what to factor this to? Well, this right here is always going to be half of your b term, okay? So right here, we just did this, but half of my b term would be the 11 over 8 that we just got, okay? That's kind of the trick that you use because I don't want to find factors of 121 over 64 that add up to 11 over 4. I'm just going to use kind of the shortcut and just say, what's half of my b term, okay? So half of my b term, and again, it's positive because 11 over 4 is already positive, so half of a positive number is still a positive number. So I'm going to get that squared equals, and then on this side, I have two fractions with unlike denominators. So just as a quick step, I'm going to change both of the denominators to 64. Okay, this is still going to be 121. But what did I do to get from 4 to 64? I times it by 16, which means I times the top by 16. And I feel like I might need a calculator, but I don't really feel like going to get it. So I'm just going to do it over here. I get 90, 5, 240. Wait a second. Is it 240? Yep. Okay. So 240. So 240 plus 121 gets me 361 over 64. All right. So now I need to solve for x. I am going to square root on both sides. And I get x plus 11 over 8. It's really weird, but 361 actually is a perfect square. If you tried in your calculator, you should get 19. Square root of 64 is 8. So when I'm square rooting a fraction, I square root the top and I square root the bottom. Okay, that's how I got the 19 over 8. Now, I subtract 11 over 8 on both sides. Over here, this cancels out. I'm left with x equals, 8 over 8. And I get 1. Okay. One of the things that I forgot to mention, was once you take the square root of something, okay, it could be 19 over 8, but it could also be negative, negative 19 over 8, because again, when you're taking the square root of something, it could be positive or it could be negative. So now if I subtract 11 over 8 on both sides over here, I get x equals 30. Sorry, negative 30 over 8. Yeah. So my answer is either going to be 1 or negative 15 over 4, and all I did was reduce that fraction. Go back and check to see if this makes sense. They both should make sense, and your answer should be Hermione for that one.